Hello and welcome to this FPL Gameweek 33 team selection video with me, Holly Shand. It's a Sunday release as we head into a round of midweek fixtures. Do not miss the Tuesday deadline. Let's get into it. The FPL fixture schedule for the rest of the season has now been confirmed. We know that double game week 36 we have for Brighton and Newcastle, followed by a double game week 37 involving Brighton, Chelsea, Manchester City and Manchester United, replicating the fixtures postponed for the FA Cup semi-finals from game week 32. So there's lots to consider in our transfer plans. Now for me, I really do dislike midweek game weeks, especially with the schedule so condensed and some clubs looking ahead to double game week 34 as well. It's a time where we could see surprise results, some rotation as well, and under the lights with lots of teams having so much to play for at the top and the bottom of the Premier League table, we can get unpredictable results as well. Now, my team, I'm a little bit stuck with what to do at the moment because I'm in a tricky situation. I've got just one free transfer, 1.5 million in the bank, so not a lot of flexibility, and I'm reluctant to take a points hit this week because of how unpredictable those midweek games are. Ideally, in the long run, I'd be looking for a route to Liverpool players because they top the fixture schedule for the remainder of the season. Not really got any tricky fixtures in there, but I can't get to them this week without taking a points hit. So it's something I may look to do by double game week 34. And the reason for that is that those Liverpool players are going to be some of the top players to pick from for double game week 34. 2 home games against Spurs and Fulham. Mo Salah could actually be the captaincy candidate. I know that Manchester City's Erling Haaland also has a double game week, so there's lots to weigh up in there, but I would really like Salah for game week 34. I'd like him in game week 33 away to West Ham, but I cannot justify taking a -4 or a -8 or a -12 even to get him in. Now, my route to Salah is limited. I also would really like to own Trent Alexander-Arnold because he's been sensational, particularly in recent games since moving into that inverted fullback role. We've seen that Trent can really excel in that position, and he's got 4 assists in 3 games in that position. So that's something to really bear in mind as well. So I am looking at a potential transfer to do for double game week 34. But the problem is it would involve, because of my low team value, I would need to sell some big name players to get them in. So I'd have to make a move that involved selling both Harry Kane and Bruno Fernandes, which is not something that I really want to do right now, but it is something I could be forced into doing. So I'm looking at a transfer that involves bringing in Trent, Salah and potentially Martial up front, which would mean that I'd remain tripled up on Manchester United, also have the double up in Liverpool, and that would mean that Kane, Fernandes and Rico Henry in my backline would make way. Now, it's a risky move because it means dropping Kane, who is in sensational form, and it means dropping Fernandes, who, you know, could really prosper in the next few games, even though it's been a bit of a tricky run for him. So it's something I really need to consider. But I think a -4 for game week 34 to bring in 2 Liverpool players that have double game weeks plus a really nice run till the end of the season. Keep with Manchester United, who have a couple more of double game weeks till the end of the season, is going to be something that really benefits me. And in the process, losing Kane and Henry, who don't have any doubles before the end of the season. We need to weigh up with Kane. The fixtures for him do kind of turn for the worse. He's got Manchester United in game week 33. It's just a single game week for Kane in game week 34 against Liverpool. And then looking further ahead, Crystal Palace, Aston Villa, Brentford and Leeds. Those fixtures in 35 and 36 are against defences that are performing very well at the moment. So I think in the short term, moving from a premium of Kane to a premium of Salah could pay off, but it's not something that I'm willing to take the hit for to do it this week. Team selection time then, and I've got some big decisions to make all over the pitch. Starting off between the sticks, Steele faces Nottingham Forest away, Kepa faces Brentford at home. I think I'm going to go with Steele for this one because Nottingham Forest are a side that are struggling for goals. Even though they did manage to get a couple against Liverpool, I still think that Brighton have the best clean sheet potential. The back line picks itself. Trippier and Shaw travel to Everton. hoping for another clean sheet for Newcastle, whereas Mings is at home to Fulham, with Shaw and Henry dropping to the bench for tricky away games. It's the midfield and forward line though. I've got 8 really strong players. I've only got 7 spots. At the moment, I've got Jack Grealish on my bench against Arsenal at home. I'm hoping that, maybe the decision is taken out of my hands with rotation here of which players get the nod, but I cannot bench Rashford or Fernandes away at Spurs because I think Spurs are performing poorly defensively at the minute. Rashford has the form, Fernandes is on penalties, and in the case of Matoma and March, they've got a great fixture away at Nottingham Forest. I do not want to bench them either. My forward line is looking really strong with Haaland at home to Arsenal, Manchester United for Harry Kane, and then Watkins faces Fulham at home. So a tricky captain decision, tricky bench decision as well, but the bench at the moment is Kepa, Grealish, Shaw and Henry. But as I mentioned at the top, I do feel like that could be taken out of my hands because we always see rotation when we've got these midweek game weeks. Captaincy then, and with Salah not in the conversation because he's not in my team, I've still got some really great options for captaincy. At the moment, I'm leaning towards Erling Haaland because Arsenal are conceding goals right now. They've really struggled with Saliba out, so if he remains out, Haaland remains the best pick. Because if you look at the underlying numbers, Arsenal have conceded 2 goals per game on average since the break. Haaland is the most prolific goal scorer that the Premier League has ever seen, particularly at home at the Etihad, where nearly 2/3 of his goals have come this season. So at the moment, I've got Haaland captain, and I'm looking at Solly March for the vice captaincy because he's facing that weakest side of the Nottingham Forest defence, and that's something to bear in mind. I've recorded this video on Sunday morning there, so lots of time for you to ask your questions in the comments ahead of the deadline, which comes on Tuesday evening at 6 p.m. Do not miss it. I'll be bringing you the deadline stream on Tuesday at 5 p.m. UK time, so set a reminder so you don't miss it. I'm on the road to 18,000 subscribers, so make sure to hit that subscribe button as well to support the channel going forward. Good luck for FPL Gameweek 33.